I can see that we have with us Madam Deputy Prime Minister. Mrs. Emilewicz, good morning or good afternoon. It's good to have you with us. Thank you that you decided to devote some time to speaking to the people that represent the sector that at the moment has created 340,000 jobs in the last 10 years. And that is just a direct involvement. Indirectly, we have almost 600,000 people involved in the activities around business services sector. We produce 20 billion US dollars for export. That is the recent data. So we would like to understand how we are being perceived by the government, especially in this difficult situation. But as the title of the speech says, we would like to listen to you also as a leader, as a political leader, but also as a person that in your past life was leading young people and teaching them how to act in life. We do hope that you will share with us your experience. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, first of all, for the invitation, and to asking me to start with terrific, because it is an extremely important question, and try to ask frankly, and you will understand it is very difficult. I'm being asked for last several weeks about what kind of support, financial support can we offer to this or that sector, but none of them asked me about the leadership, and this is a kind of a self-analysis that you guys are trying to do to offer me to be done. But let me try to answer this very fundamental question. Indeed. Let me present the perspective. I will try to answer this question from my both experiences. On one side, as someone who used to be an academic teacher who actually taught about leadership in policy. And secondly, as someone who is expected to be a political leader. So let me say a few words from this first perspective. I think that the leadership in every single sphere of social life is of course is absolutely necessary, both in business, in academia, and in politics as well. So we are looking for the smart, wise leaders whom we trust, whom we believe, with whom we understand the targets, and they define the way that we should follow. And from perspective of someone who is now in place of being a leader, let me bring those specific examples which we are now having. The crisis, the COVID-19, as of course we are aware, is one of the deepest crises probably since the beginning of 20th century. We can compare it with the crisis that appeared in Europe and the United States at the time at the end of 20s. And we can combine this end of 20s with the end of the First World War crisis, the flu in Europe. So we've been stopped and blocked completely on the social life and on the business side. And we start to rethink our perception of economy, but also the social life. And what I mean the politicians, have been asked for, and I think that what the societies asked and expect was that we are ready to prepare the fast and the proper reaction on this on the events that took place. We may say that, and what we observe that those countries led by brave enough politicians who undertake the actions unprecedented, that has never been used. Today, we may very carefully say that those countries are winning. And I might say that we are among those countries. So it was after the decision of Prime Minister that this is the time for sparing money. This is the time for giving money to the market as soon as possible. It was also the decision that has been done very quickly about lockdown, about the closing of the schools, of closing of the shops, about reducing our social contact. We were among the countries who introduced such a policy at the very beginning. A lot of us have been, it was a lot of questions regarding that measure, a lot of questions to the government whether it was suitable action. Today, after all those weeks, we might say that this country, those countries, which didn't take this kind of decisions, today are in the losing position. So that will bring only Swedish country. So,
Madam Minister, excuse me, we have a signal that maybe the microphone is a little too far from you. Would that be possible to just bring it a little closer?
yes,
I don't
sure,
know how technically, because we hear you,
yes,
but
I will ask.
because it's
Yes.
all very fascinating, but it looks like sometimes we're losing the last end of the sentence, and it's not like in the
We'll
German
try
where the
to,
verb is at the end, but we would like to understand to be able to ask the right questions right after. Thank you very much.
we'll try to improve it.
By the way, while waiting, we will be talking later on today about the great leaders in tough times, and we will present the examples of a couple of women running governments in Europe that came out of the situation quite well. We wouldn't like say that one or the other sex runs it better, but these women, as you mentioned, were quite brave and took brave decisions and came out victorious from those situations. So
So that's maybe it is because the women are under the pressure of decision-making processes from scratch, from their everyday habit, having kids and dealing with them. So it is a normal situation, right? So the stress is something that we are very common with. But let me answer the question regarding the role of a good leader in a hard time. I will try to once again to answer as I'm doing it many times. This is also my strong belief. We should definitely come back with the perception of the policy in the very classic way. So the classic way that comes to Aristotle and the time and the ancient Greeks, that you can hardly find any other way of creating and changing the social life than the political activity. So, and this is my personal attitude that not only in the hard time, but also in the afterward. I do believe that the time that is coming afterward will be soon. But even in that time, it is very important that we did not lose, as I mentioned, the very classic perception of the policy. So the common sense and common good is something that should be our central goal. And if I think about my home country, about Poland, and let me think what has happened in so many matters in Poland during last 5 years. So if you think that one of our main social problems was poverty, then you can see that we were able to cope with this issue with a very successful way. So after introducing a lot of social programs, we can say that the poverty is not the sign of the social life in Poland. Of course, we can blame about the other issues with the public debate, but those kind I would call rather cosmetic power because it is not the essence of the policy. So this is the civilization change that has appeared in Poland, and I'm fully convinced that this is the proper world because if you allow people to be free, then you made a civilization change. And by coping with the poverty problem, we simply deliver a scope of freedom to the thousands of Polish households. What is important for if we think about Poland, of course, we need to have a smart, wise politics created by politicians, which, as it is many times in our everyday life, have to undertake very fundamental political decision. So the key point is that every single decision should be um, challenged with common accepted rules and institutional structures. Those who are in the specific country, in the specific society. And to what I feel are the conditions of which can create the smart policy. So that first of all, I would say it is an ideology. I know that today ideology has a very it's being put as something that we call the minus sign. So let me presume that it is a kind of a paradigm, political and the economy one. It is absolutely basis for every single policy making process. So this is the gather of senses which provide me with that I'm picking up this or that goal. The second point is leadership, political leadership. So every single political decision should be smartly scheduled and prepared and really solve the real important for the society issues. So should be taken of course by the person or the group of persons which are grounded with the public authority. If, of course, if we are talking about the political leaders, if it is in democracy, of course, the leader should provide for this decision, this or that decision, the proper social support. So the role of leader is to create the point, to present the part which you want to achieve. And this is absolutely the key, and this is why the people that preparing this leaders are really ready to provide us with such a target. The third point is of course meritocracy. So the leaders need to be covered, need to be surrounded by the group. I'm always telling smarter than politicians, advisors. So because the policy needs some more expertise, and the good expertise for solving the problems should be done. Then our decisions are really well accepted and really solve the problem. The fourth point is the institution. So of course we know Bavarian order of policy, and I found last week quite a good article in the Oxford Press about coming back to Bavarian order after COVID-19. So we observe nowadays in those 4 weeks how important the institutional order is and the good performance of the institution. We were not able to deliver enough support for the security of Polish citizens if the dedicated to the security institutions would work improperly. So the institution, the strong party, the strong state is based on the strong leaders and strong institutional order. The key point is money, of course. If you want to introduce any public policy, you need to have money on that. And the good balance that should be done on the um, political side is to be able to create the proper customer policies be able to cover all social needs. Then, once you introduce a new taxation and new tax policy, it is well accepted and well digested. You offer the goal, the proper target which you want to spare those money. The fifth point is they are citizens, of course, because we are here to offer to serve, because the minister is, if you translate it from Latin, it's a servant. So we serve the citizens, and they are beneficiaries of all our activities, and we should not lose them from our sight, from our eyes. It is so important, and this is very easy to know this perspective once you be settled in the ministerial cabinet. So this is so important to be a constant dialogue of taking the processes, taking decisions together with citizens. And this is extremely should be done for citizens, but also together with citizens. And of course, in the very turbulent times as we are now today, so it's very difficult. I will ask for the questions about the predicted GDP for the end of the year. And I'm always telling that we are making the predictions for the next week, maybe month. This is something that is predictable. It is very hard to predict what's going on in autumn time, for instance, or the second COVID outbreak. We are having nowadays a lot of countries in the world that told us 2 weeks ago that they cope with and they closed the issue of COVID, and we are having another outbreak nowadays. So in this very difficult time, we should basically focus on three mentioned three-line rules. The first one is cooperation, partnership, and co-responsibility of the public entities, business, and citizens once we create the public policy. If I may drive us a bit to the financial program that we offer to the market, was a very combating with time. And we prepared the legal framework almost in the whole 24 hours. But even in that pressure momentum, we were able to talk to our social partners just to be aware that everything, every single tool that we are creating is necessary and welcomed by the market. The second point is the proverb that play to the one goal, and this is absolutely the unique moment when the whole administration should be focused and collaborate. It is many times talking that the administration, every single democratic country, is square and is let's say in a silos organized team. So today it was so important that we are aware that the decision about critical infrastructure investment are closely connected with the condition of the labor market. So we should undertake them in a close collaboration. So definitely the approach that administration is driven by the citizens, not the other way around. In a crisis momentum, even more important. And the third and last point is solidarity and responsibility. So this is absolutely the main rule, the main regulation that the society, the Commonwealth should take about. And let me for the last point, brought back to the person who is very important personally for me. And I call myself appreciative being a member of his generation. This is John Paul II. I am just inspired by everything as always. The people who died are always smarter than we are. And if you read him, and I remember his speech delivered in 1979, I was very little girl at the momentum, but I got it many times. It has been delivered in the United Nations in New York. It was the 2nd of October, and he simply inspired the politicians leader gathered at that time in United Nations site. And he told that in the last analysis in the last summary of the politician activity, is whether we act, whether everything what we did has come from the man, through the man, and for the man. And if our activity is taking off from this fundamental regulation, then we have to answer whether we are politicians still or not, whether our activity is still the political from the classic way, or which I quoted at the beginning, or not. So the ratio of the activity activity of the politician is the service for the man. And this is something what we should be driven by, both in the crisis time and in the more silent and peaceful momentum. And this is something that it should be absolutely a good sign for every single political leader. Thank you very much.
Madam Minister, thank you very much for laying down the rules of leadership. Looking at whatever you mentioned to us, we see very many similarities. You mentioned that, first of all, we should be combating poverty, but for us, combating poverty was also providing dignity for people. If you remember the beginning of the 2000s, when we initiated this sector in Poland, the unemployment was in major Polish cities between 11 and 18%. Right now, it's between 2 and 3. In some of the cities like Kraków, which is your hometown, we constitute almost 20% of the working force. And if you remember, one of the first theses of Prime Minister Morawiecki was to bring or keep the people home. We have created jobs that previously existed only in London, Amsterdam, and large global cities. We allowed the people to stay in Poland doing whatever they want to do, what they have been studying. So we see very much in line that we created the field where we combated, maybe not poverty, but combated a challenging situation for young people. The average age in our sector is 29 to 31. When we listened to you and we listened about the leadership, I think our corporations, sometimes being called corporations, global corporations, are being looked upon as those that suck out the energy of people. But we are almost the leadership academies. If you look at the situation at the beginning of 2000, one of the first questions when the new investor was coming to one of the Polish cities was, do you have international school? Right now, we don't hear these questions because most of the leaders in our companies are Polish people. So all the high positions are taken by us. This is also another aspect that we created, teaching the leaders how to run the global companies. And then when you said the three aspects that constitute a good leader, which is cooperation, partnership, and solidarity, I think the aspects that we provide from our companies, which is diversity and inclusion, tolerance, and understanding for others, I think we fall into these three categories. So keeping this in mind, we would like to go to the questions that we have received on the chat to you, and we did moderate the questions asking to approach you as a leader. Maybe, Anya, you want to read the first one that we received?
Right. So, first of all, we feel very privileged to have, for the first time, the insight to your opinion about the leadership. And by that, our viewers would like to learn what are the lessons for you learned from the current situation as a political leader.
Mm-hmm. Well, so as I mentioned briefly at the beginning, so it is an absolutely unique momentum for just also to check ourselves whether we are ready to work very strong, very tough, very effectively after such a pressure. But let me bring some information. So the first point is that the message, data, and information changes all the time. So this is something we know that we are in a data time, and the message and the information are flowing even before COVID very fast, and the situation was changed a lot. But what is happening right now, we must say that we don't know what we don't know, right? And we many times we have to say I was wrong, right? So this is much more often, and which is much more acceptable from the social by our citizens than they used to be before COVID. And we are still bound with the new facts, new data, which we have to digest and then rapidly answer for that. The second point is that, as I mentioned before, we need to we need to make tough decisions and work tough choices faster than before. Let me bring you the example from last week from Polish Parliament. I've been presenting the co-chair of our special regulation, anti-COVID regulation, and one of the opposition leaders asked me, blamed me, that, well, why do you amend it the fourth time? Wouldn't it be better if you prepare the proper, excellently fitted, good regulation at the first momentum and not amend it four times? Well, I came to the tribune and told him, yes, that would be perfect. We all love properly prepare plan-driven legislation. But in that time, what would we have? We would work for 3 months. We would cover every single need, but approximately 1 million of Polish companies would disappear from the Polish market. So I would say that we were obliged, as I told you, we need to make tough decisions and work and make definitely our choices faster. So, and I would say that it is very common for every single country who try to cope with COVID. And
Madam Deputy Prime Minister, we appreciate very much what you do for us, and we are patient even for the fifth, sixth, or seventh shield, because we understand it's a work in progress.
yeah.
We heard a lot about your approach, but it's good that we moved to the political part, because having to close our discussion, we would like to ask one question that was very direct. If we were going to hear from you one thing that will keep us going, and that will, I think it's a man that wrote, that will make me get up and go to work and do what I have been doing for the last, not 3 months, but for the last 3 years, what would that be?
Oh my God, so very difficult. Well, so definitely, if you ask me about 3 years, I would say that those last weeks are absolutely one of the deepest experiences of all my life. Right? So this is not only about, if I may say, about the last 4 years, what was important in those 4 years. So those last 7, so the period from the beginning of March is definitely one of the most tough experiences in my life. And I would say, if I may stay up and say whether I performed good or not, I would rather estimate myself on this more optimistic. I would score myself approximately around B than around C or D. So what made me to do it? So the necessity, right? So it was the situation. I would say, of course, it was maybe not compared to the war, but the decision-making process was like that. So what drives me and push me from home to work and to do was the deep understanding that the policy and the politics is necessary right now. If any time, it is the momentum when we present that the politicians are necessary in the society.
Thank you very much. You probably know that working with you, we see that the politicians are necessary for the situation. We do hope that the politicians will see that it's necessary to discuss, debate, and listen to the arguments. We don't want all our arguments to be heard, but we would like to see that there is this dialogue, because this is what counts for us most. And if I was to answer that one question, I would see there is a chance for a further dialogue to learn for myself and learn for those that we work with and for. Thank you very much for bringing your own people that created you and created the way you work. We all have our heroes, and we know that the hero that you mentioned also was very much for solidarity, was very much for understanding, for passion, and cooperation. but this solidarity we would like to stay with, as it all unites us in what we do.
Indeed, and we are convinced that some of the words you have expressed will become a motto of a good leader in the hard times.
Thank you very much, and we will definitely stay in touch because, as we all know, we are expecting the new normal. So we want to build the new normal with you, and we hope that there will be a place in your plans for us to build the new normal. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Let me say words simply. I would like to thank you, the shared services and the whole your representation presented in Poland since, as you mentioned, 2000 here. So as you simply bring the example of Krakow, so this 20% of working force we employ in Krakow right now, I would say that you're extremely important, and I put a lot many times, and I bring your example as the potential for Poland and what we see right now. Let's say once again about this Krakow in the COVID crisis, when the Krakow, this city economy has been fully based on tourism and international tourism, and the situation right now is very dramatic. So your presence there is the chance and is the question right now for many cities in Poland, how to create another possibility that this kind of services might be located more and more in Poland. We are always more than welcome, and my ministry is open for the dialogue with you and to be able to provide you with all necessary conditions. Poland will be still one of the most interesting countries in the world when this kind of investments might be placed in.
We can assure you it will, because we have a few projects to come. So we will definitely knock on your door. You can expect us even on Monday. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.